Hey, hi all. Welcome back to the channel again. Let's learn about TypeScript accessors. So as you have learned the TypeScript access modifiers in the last videos. So if you did not watch it, you can go into my channel and read it from the thumbnail. You will able to identify which video it is. Watch it and understand it properly. Then we have a read-only properties as well. I have created a video for that. You can watch it if you do not know anything about read-only properties. So accessors are nothing but the properties only, the class properties only, but they are treated like an outer layer, right? So they are actually gives us a way to access or modify the class properties, um, through a outer layer. So what do I mean by the outer layer? So outer layers are nothing but getters and setters. Okay, so we can give getters, many getters and many setters based on the number of properties. So one getter and one setter is sufficient for one property, whether it is a private property or a public property or a protected property, it doesn't matter. Okay, so for one property we give one getter and one setter. Okay, so now let's understand how we can give it and how we can achieve accessing the private field of any class. So let me add class person and a private field or a property called name, which has a type of string, and the name is test, for example. Now we do have a constructor. Then now to access this property, what I could do, I can create a variable obj is equal to new person using person class constructor, and I normally access those property or methods using dot. So as you can see, using dot, I'm actually pressing dot. It's not showing me any kind of intelligence that what properties are available in this class, right? Because we have a private property, it's not accessible outside this class directly by the property name itself. Okay, so if I create any public property, right? Public, let's say location, maybe the string, and if I press dot over here, it gives me the property name to access by directly by the property name itself. But in case of private, it doesn't do that. So how can we achieve it, right? How can we access that property, and how can we update that property? So to add getters, we need to write down this get keyword, and then the getter name is nothing but starts with get and the property name, let's say get name, uh, the function signature, and then the type of that function, and then return this dot name, right? So now when I write down or hit dot button, you can see I'm getting two properties now. The one is get name and the other one is location, right? So this get name, what get name does, get name actually returns me the value of the name property private field. Okay, so let's say console log obj dot get name, and to call despite this is actually an the signature is kind of a function only, but to access it you can directly access it as a property. You don't need to give any kind of parenthesis over there to access it. Okay, so let's transpile it, ts index dot ts, and then node index dot js. So you can see the value test has been printed over here, right? So we are successfully able to read the value of a private variable of a class using the getter. let's say how we can update it. So for that we need to set the setters. So for setters, we use set keyword and then the set word, and after that the property name, set name. So this is actually a proper syntax of it. Okay. And the setter actually expects some parameters. So let's say value of type string maybe, and then this dot name is equal to value. We can assign the value, right? So let's say I have, the initial value of get name is test, and the updated value after that, after setting the, or after updating the value of name property. So I am updating value of name property as a test and test, let's say. So as you can see how I have, access the name property using get name. I haven't given any kind of, parenthesis over there. I'm using this getter as a property, and here as well you need to use the setter as a property only. You cannot use the parenthesis over here. So how you are assigning values to properties, you can see over here. Same like that, you can use the setters and getters as well. Okay, to reading the property and to setting the property, right? So now let's transpile this again. tsc index dot ts and then node index dot js. So now you can see the old value over here, and after updating you can see the updated value over here, right? So this is how getters and setters works in TypeScript classes. uh, so there are some of the advantages of it. You can achieve the encapsulation using the getter and setters, right? So you don't need to show the complex logic whatever is implemented over there, in order to get the value of this property, right? You can simply return this property to the end user using the getter, right? So it doesn't matter like how this this dot name has come or has arised into this particular class, or maybe how this has been implemented. You don't need to worry about that. So you just read the value of it, and you just need to set the value of it. So this is the encapsulation feature. And then validation also, let's say I have a public property called is authorized of type boolean. Let's say the initial value is false. So what I can do, I can directly add conditions over here. This dot is authorized. If it is an authorized person, then we'll return it, else return null. Okay, else return null. So now let me change the type of it, undefined or null, using union, right? What I've used over here, I've used union type. Okay, so I'm giving multiple types to this getter as a return type, so that I can return the null as well. So now you can see over here, let's give another condition over here. If it is unauthorized, then give the value, else just give the old value itself, right? So now let's transpile this again. tsc index dot ts and then node index dot js file. You can see we have null in both cases. Okay, because the user who is trying to access the property using getters or setters, or trying to update the property using setter, is not authorized, right? So that's the reason we are not giving him access to this property, and we're sending him null as a value, right? Or maybe we can directly return the user, right? So instead of returning null, we can directly return that user or anything, any value, right? For that, what I need to do, I need to obj dot is authorized. I need to make it true, and then only I'm able to access the value. So let's clear the console, transpile the file, ts file, and then run the js file. You can see test and test has been printed again, because the user who is trying to access the properties is authorized, right? So this is how we can give validations as well. And then we have another side effects of it. So side effects are nothing but the effects we give after performing our main task. Okay. So side effect means like that. What the meaning of side effect is that actually. So once we have done our main task of updating the values, we can log we can log over here using loggers, right? Then we can trigger some event if we need to trigger, right? And then uh, we can actually update the or send the properties which actually updates their value or derives their value from any kind of other properties as well. Okay, based on that, suppose um, from somewhere in other location, right? So from somewhere someone has changed the property of location, for example, and based on location, if I want to check whether the location value has changed or not, if the location value has been changed, then I can update the name value as according to the updated location value, right? So these kind of things you can do. Those are nothing but a computer properties, right? Computer properties are nothing but the property value which is based on the another property value. Okay, so this is how the computer property works. So we can use the computer property over here as well to update the value of this variable based on another variable value. We have done over here like that, right? If it is authorized, then only update the value. If it is not, then update the old value or keep the old value as it is, right? So this is how we can use getters and setters as a um, as a key benefits, okay, for the class. So I hope you have understood this video. Most of your concepts are cleared, I guess. If it is so, then you can like the video and share with your friends, and subscribe the channel. Click the bell icon so that you never miss any new updates coming from this channel. Thanks all guys. Let's meet in next video.